Hey everyone, Peter Klein here. This is certainly not the show we wanted to be doing today, but unfortunately, Johnny Gaudreau passing away from an accident last night at the age of 31, and so I thought need to come on here, talk about it a little bit, talk about what he meant to the Calgary Flames organization and to the city of Calgary as a whole, and just all of it. It's I had a plan for what I was going to say on some of this, but don't really know how to start something like this. This is the stuff that you get into sports talk to not have to deal with. And unfortunately, just a whole lot of reality coming around and hitting us today as Johnny Gaudreau killed in an accident while riding his bike the day before his sister's wedding. And that is like every layer of this just gets more and more heartbreaking as you think of it, and that's been happening with me all morning, where like the obvious first initial shock hits you and it's devastating, and then you just think of the next layer and next layer and next layer of what it all means and who it all means that to, and it just becomes this overwhelming sense of grief. And so yeah, we're going to be talking about it today. Obviously, this is a heavy subject. If it's not something that you are ready to deal with in any way, totally understand. But this is just going to be kind of talking about the whole situation. But I do think that the main thing that you think of with Johnny Gaudreau in this particular moment is the attachment to family, right? And like out here in Calgary, we always knew when his parents were in town. We always that they were always a fixture on the broadcasts. It was always this extra layer of the Johnny Gaudreau experience was how important his family was. And that ultimately led to the decision of him leaving. And I made my jokes about like Columbus, that's where we're getting closer to. But it was still closer, and it was still an important part and an important aspect of Johnny Gaudreau is that, like, yes, the hockey stuff is great, all of these different things that you can do in the city, but I want to be closer to home. That was always the conversation around him, is how important family was and how important it was to be as close to home as often as he possibly could. And so when they would do the kind of Northeast United States tour, you would see the parents there and relatives there an awful lot. And that they would, like I said, that they were we always knew when they were in town, it was always such a big deal and it was always so important. And they became a part of the Calgary Flames family for as long as Johnny Gaudreau was here. And so for this terrible tragedy to happen as we are getting, or as they are getting ready for such a monumental moment in the family's kind of timeline, is again just all the more heartbreaking that goes along with it. And then to factor in again the young family aspect of it, where, and again, that was something that he was, you would see the social media posts, he was so excited about starting that young family and so excited about opening up that next chapter of his life, and to have that part of it cut short now, and to have their time with him cut to be as short as it was, is all of it. It's just all like I'm gonna say heartbreaking 45 times on this, and it's probably not enough. It all just absolutely leaves a real sting with everything. And you think about those kind of left behind, right? Like obviously the family, but like Kevin Hayes, who went through a terrible family tragedy, and now one of his best friends is gone. And Sean Monahan, we're all talking about this reunion out in Columbus, where it's going to be Monahan and Gaudreau getting to play together again, and what this means for them. And you see all the different posts out on social media with Gaudreau just being there at various friends' weddings and at different team events and with different teammates. And it was just an absolute love for life that he had, and just trying to get the most out of every moment, whether that was a moment that gave us memories for a lifetime out on the ice, or a moment with his friends, or a moment with his family, a moment with his children. He was just every moment that Johnny Gaudreau lived. Johnny Gaudreau tried to get the most out of that very moment, and that is certainly one of the lessons that you take away from Johnny Gaudreau's time with us here. That is cut way too short with what happened. From a Flames standpoint, like talking about the hockey stuff does feel trivial, but that is such an important part of what he meant to all of us. It wasn't just the wins and losses, but it was for so many who are on the smaller side. He's an inspiration, given what not only that he was able to achieve what he was able to achieve at a university level, but then to just make the NHL, to be drafted as a dude who was as small as he was. And like I'll admit, like I was at it was one of the development camps after it was the development camp, I guess, after they signed him, and you see him and it's like, dude, man, like I'm a foot taller than you, and probably got like $150 on you. Like, how are you going to handle it when you're playing out here? And then you watch him play a game. It's like, oh, that's how this is. He's just going to do that. But it's such an inspiration for guys who are on the smaller side that for so long were told that they would be too small and they couldn't do it. And Johnny Gaudreau just absolutely blew that up, and not only became a productive player, but he became a face of the franchise. Like Johnny Hockey was a fun nickname and it worked, but for a lot of us out here, all you needed to say was Johnny, and you knew who you were talking about. For him to be of that stature and get to those heights is a remarkable testament to what he is able to do as a hockey player, the work that he was able to put in, and the dedication to his craft, and just the following along Johnny's progression throughout university and getting to experience all of that, and then waiting. Is he going to sign? Isn't he? And then when he signs and he gets to debut in that last game of the season, and you see glimpses of it. And then from there, like I was trying to think, like I don't have a whole lot of just like, oh, and then this thing happened. Because it was all, and maybe this is like the grand, a deeper philosophical, like that this is how we should all want to be remembered. But it was more a feeling you had when he was out on the ice for the team that you're covering or the team that you're cheering for or whatever. So like there are absolutely moments for sure. But to me, what I will always remember is just like that feeling you would get watching him, and that excitement that very, very few could bring. I was very lucky, very, very, very lucky to be able to watch a lot of very exciting players play and come through here in Calgary. And you would see them play and you would see Johnny do it. And it was like, you know what? This kid is different. And he would bring a level of excitement to the game that not many could do. And so that is what I will remember the most. I'm sure there are a lot of other like actual moments that stand out. But to me, it was this feeling when he would get going, when he would start to wind it up a little bit. It's like, okay, here we go. And he would have like shift by shift and sometimes period by period where he would just get on the ice and be like, oh, you think you get to touch the puck? That's adorable. No. This is mine. And this is the Calgary Flames puck now. And you just get to wait your turn. And he would go out there and he would just absolutely control every moment out there. And it was electrifying. And the dome would start to recognize it a little bit. And there would be a buzz in that place. And, it was awesome to watch. And I guess like from a moment standpoint, it's game 7 against the Dallas Stars where he gets the moment that he probably deserved with this team, and to be able to have that and give this fan base that sort of a thing after a lot of years where it hadn't necessarily gone all that well and all that swimmingly. But like you look at from a strictly hockey standpoint, which again does seem a little bit trivial, and we'll do more on the hockey player as the days go on here a little bit. But I do just quickly want to say, like from a hockey standpoint, he was absolutely one of those guys who was, this guy makes everyone around him better, right? Like Yuri Hudler has one of the great runs of his career playing alongside Johnny Gaudreau. Sean Monahan has like turned into a good player again with Montreal and with Winnipeg. Injuries kind of held him up a little bit at times here, but when those two guys were on the ice together, Johnny Gaudreau brought out the best version of Sean Monahan. Elias Lindholm, Matthew Tkachuk, like all of them have played at high levels with various different line mates, but never did they reach the heights that they did when they were playing with Johnny Gaudreau. And it was Gaudreau, Monahan, and whoever. And if it was a random player, it was one of the best lines on the Flames. And if it was a higher-ish level player, it was one of the best lines in the National Hockey League. And it was amazing to watch, like I said, and just amazing to experience that. And so again, the way that I will remember Johnny Gaudreau is just that feeling and that electricity and that passion and just what he was able to bring out of this fan base. Because it like there wasn't a whole lot going on with the Calgary Flames. Iginla was gone, and there was just like this. Okay, what's next for this team? And what was next was legitimately one of the most exciting players in franchise history, and he gave so many people in this community so much excitement and so much hope. And maybe we do put too much into sports for that stuff sometimes. But if you put that into sports, Johnny Gaudreau gave it back to you. He just absolutely had so much passion about being a Calgary Flame and so much passion about being a hockey player. And again, for being a good teammate, for being a good brother, for being a good husband, and for not nearly long enough, a really good dad. And this whole thing just really sucks. And I guess kind of, the PSA part of all of it is the drunk driving aspect of this, where like, it's just so unnecessary. It's never been necessary. But in 2024, where there's a bunch of different apps, there's like taxis still exist. If nothing else, there's apps where you can get a place to crash. Like there is literally no reason. And I'm sure we have all been in situations where someone has said like, oh, it's fine, I won't get caught. Like I know what I'm doing, I won't get caught. And that has always bugged me for a number of reasons, obviously. But it's like, honestly, I'm not overly worried about you getting caught. That's not the highlight of my concerns here. My worry is what you could do either to yourself or others, and we see the worst example of that here. And just so again, there is no excuse ever for drinking and driving, and now we are getting all of the realization of why here today in the most tragic of ways. Just a couple of the statements that have been released over the last little while. The Calgary Flames. It's with great sadness we mourn the tragic deaths of our friend Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew. Our hearts are broken by this devastating loss. Johnny was and always will be a member of the Flames family, loved by all in Calgary. It was our privilege to call Johnny our teammate for 9 amazing years in Calgary. He came to Calgary as a young man and grew up here, not only as a superstar on the ice, but also a beloved team member, or a member of our community. The pain we feel for Johnny's wife Meredith, children Noah and Johnny, parents Jane and Guy, sisters Kristen and Katie, and the entire Gaudreau family is immense. Ownership, management, players, and staff of the Flames express our heartfelt sympathies during this time, their time of sorrow. You are in our thoughts and prayers. There's been a lot of that today. The Blue Jackets with a statement of their own. The Blue Jackets are shocked and devastated by this unimaginable tragedy. Johnny was not only a great hockey player, but more significantly, a loving husband, father, son, brother, and friend. We extend our heartfelt sympathies to wife Meredith, children Noah and Johnny, his parents, their family, and friends on the sudden loss of Johnny and Matthew. Johnny played the game with great joy, which was felt by everyone that saw him on the ice. He brought a genuine love for hockey with with him everywhere he played, from Boston College to the Calgary Flames to Team USA to the Blue Jackets. He thrilled fans in a way Johnny Hockey only could. The impact he had on our organization and our sport was profound, but pales in comparison to the indelible impression he made on everyone who knew him. Johnny embraced our community when he arrived 2 years ago, and Columbus welcomed him with open arms. We will miss him terribly and do everything that we can to support his family and each other through this tragedy. At this time, we ask for prayers for the Gaudreau family and that their privacy be respected as they grieve. Tributes pouring in. There are flowers being left at Nationwide Arena out in Columbus. And yeah, he's there for a couple of years, but obviously making an impact in that community and on that fan base as well. And so the passion that he had for this sport and for life, that won't be forgotten for a very long time, hopefully ever. And that's going to be, like I said, the lasting legacy of Johnny Gaudreau. So we'll have probably some more on him in the days and weeks to come, kind of celebrating legacy and all of that. But just had to get this out here. And as always, when stuff like this happens, it's a reminder. Tell the people you love them. An extra hug for everyone in your life. And yeah, I don't know how to start this. I don't know how to end it. Just remember all the great memories, and it's so sad. It's just, I want to say, oh, remember the electricity and remember all of that, but it's tough to do anything but just think of how heartbreaking this is. So we as a Flames community, we got some real good people in this, and Johnny Gaudreau was one of those. But if you need to talk to someone, there's a lot of people out there. A lot of people are sharing their memories on social media today, so do that as well. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on your Labor Day barbecue, all in the Kroger app. Get tender USDA Choice boneless half ribeye for $8.99 a pound. Then buy 2, get 3 free on 12 packs of delicious Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Canada Dry, all with your card. Shop these deals at your local Kroger, less than 5 miles away. Or tap the screen now to download the Kroger app to save big today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Prices and product availability subject to change. Restrictions apply. See site for details.